Serial killers and abductors pop up on the news and in social media pretty often. They're heavily covered by the media to satiate our morbid curiosity. This video contains disturbing and graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, I just want you to know that I'm doing this stuff to you under protest. Not that you'd care, mind you.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is a very heavy story. If you want to tap out now, absolutely I understand. Take care of yourself and I will see you in the next one. In 1984, Charles Singh and Leonard Lake together abducted, raped, and murdered 11 to 25 women. This all had to do with what Leonard called Operation Miranda. He abducted the women with the intention of creating his own Miranda. In the 1965 thriller, The Collector, Terence Stamp's character, known as Freddy, kidnaps a woman of his dreams and keeps her captive in a hidden room in his basement. Freddy's a loner and he longs for the love of one woman in particular that he's been stalking, and her name is Miranda. Off-screen, recently divorced Leonard Lake hears about the cult classic. Please know that this is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Good evening. It's a Sunday in October. 22nd, 23rd, something like that. Very close to my 38th birthday. And I'm starting this tape without script or without any real organization of what I want to say. But I do feel a need to explain. What I want is an off-the-shelf sex partner. I want to be able to use a woman whenever and however I want. And when I'm tired or bored or not interested, I simply want to put her away, lock her up in a little room, get her out of my sight, out of my life. Slave, there's no way around it. Primarily a sexual slave, but nonetheless a physical slave as well. I believe that if I can construct a holding cell, a place where I can put such a woman, a facility that is so stark and so empty, so cold, so quiet, so totally removed from the world, that I can quickly condition a young woman to cooperate with me fully.
The Collector debuts in theaters across the U.S. The Collector stars legendary actor Terence Stamp as Freddy. It's one of the first big films. And the way that the film opens up is with a scene where Freddy catches a butterfly and then just observes it from the glass. Freddy is obsessed with capturing beauty in one way or another. Freddy is lonely and alone, and he's decided that the only way that he's ever going to have a partner is to abduct a beautiful woman. And he stalks an art student named Miranda, and when the time is right, he abducts her and keeps her captive in his hidden bunker. Leonard is inspired to find his own Miranda, a lovely, submissive woman he can call his slave. But first, he needs a place to keep her, like the hidden bunker in The Collector.
If I can construct a holding cell, a facility that is so stark and so empty, so cold, so quiet, so totally removed from the world, that I can quickly condition a young woman to cooperate with me fully.
What happens when someone turns their curiosity into reality? Clarilyn is an interesting woman. Out of the numerous women that Leonard had paid to pose nude for him, this one woman, said yes.
So, I thought I'd unbutton my vest and give you talked about underage performers, and but I've seen some awfully cute looking little 14, 16-year-olds that I envy, and I wouldn't mind watching them do something interesting.
Leonard and Charles met in 1981. Shortly after, the two of them moved into Leonard's lake house in California. Enter Charles Ng, who is the perfect partner for Leonard's diabolical plan. In exchange for refuge, Charles offers to help Leonard with his plan, capturing a woman and using her as a sex partner. Leonard begins constructing his secret room. Leonard does his best to sort of replicate the bunker that Freddy uses in The Collector. All Leonard needs now is a slave, or as he would say, a Miranda. Leonard Lake and his partner Charles Ng are ready to put their own Operation Miranda into action. They built a dungeon on the property. Subsequently, they abducted two women, Brenda O'Connor and Kathy Allen. Nothing really prepares you this video that you're about to see.
If you go along with this, cooperate with this, we'll be as nice as we can to you within the limits of keeping you prisoner. If you don't go along with this, we'll probably take you into the bed, tie you down, rape you, shoot you, and bury you. So, my lady, time's up. Make your choice.
I want to be available.
That's all we wanted to hear. While you're here, we'll keep you busy. You'll wash for us, you'll clean for us, cook for us, you'll cook for us. That's your choice in a nutshell. It's not much of a choice, unless you've got a death wish.
Yeah, I don't check.
Again, if there's any circumstance whatsoever that leads me to think that you're even attempting to make noise, it's immaterial as to whether I hear you or anyone else hears you. You will be whipped very severely. And tell me you understand.
I understand.
I'm having a little war within myself between what I want to do and what we might call is the decent thing to do. And for the moment, the decent thing to do is win. So, rest. Probably not.
Why are you doing this?
Because we hate you. Your baby is going to be taken away. Excuse me.
I'm going to be taken away.
There's a family down in Fresno that doesn't have a baby.
You're not taking my baby.
And the baby's dead, right?
I mean, they got one now. That's my baby.
Brenda, you have a... Her baby is sound asleep, like a rock. We don't like you. Would I like me to put it in writing?
It's done. Just stick it whatever we tell you.
Your way.
Don't cut my bra.
Nothing is yours now. You're totally ours.
Over a year after their first Miranda, the murderous duo head to a local hardware store to buy a tool for their bunker. Instead of going in to buy one, Charles stole it. The store owner called the police. Charles, he ran away, and he left Leonard just standing there beside a stolen car. The officer who had just arrived checked the trunk and saw a pistol, a .22 caliber, with a silencer. And immediately at that point, he knew there was a little more involved than just simply shoplifting. Down at the station, officers searched the mystery man's vehicle. They noted some blood splatter inside the vehicle. They found different identification papers to different people, including driver's licenses. One very important piece of evidence that they found in the car was an electric bill in Clara Lynn's name, with the address of the cabin. Leonard clearly knew it was game over. Leonard took 2 capsules that he had sewn into his shirt and downed them. They were full of cyanide. Leonard was rushed to the hospital where he dies from cyanide poisoning. While authorities attempt to track down Leonard's partner, Charles Ng, they obtain a search warrant to inspect a suspicious address that they have recently learned of. Inside Leonard's hidden bunker, authorities find his diary and several items of blood-stained women's clothing. They immediately think that women were kept and hid there for over a period of time, but they had no idea who.
I'm going to pass out at least midnight or something. Well, you can pass out, but we won't wake you up.
Brenda, I have a lot of animosity against you, and I would just as soon start you out with a nice firm whipping right now to make you believe how serious we are.
Outside, officers make shocking discoveries. Human remains were everywhere. They belonged to at least 25 different people. They found bodies, they found teeth, they found baby teeth, and they found more than 40 pounds of human bone fragments. In 1984, Charles Ng and Leonard Lake together abducted, raped, and murdered 11 to 25 women. Leonard was obsessed with the story of the collector. His M tapes were Miranda tapes. Miranda, who was the victim in the collector. So he had his Miranda ladies, and we saw two of the victims on tape, one of them being Kathleen Allen and the other one being Brenda O'Connor, who lived right next door. Charles, being Charles, went into a department store, stole a couple of items, stopped by security in Calgary. They handcuffed him and took him away. Didn't take long to realize who he was. Charles Ng was an international fugitive, eventually extradited back to the U.S. where his trial makes history. Charles Ng came up with motion after motion, fired his lawyers, challenged the judges. This was actually the most expensive trial and investigation in the history of California. Charles Ng was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. To this date, Charles remains on death row. In the end, Leonard's obsession with kidnapping a Miranda was his own death wish. Leonard became the real-life version of Freddie, a real-life woman collector. Looking back on the investigation, something that was just so small as a shoplifting offense, police would never have thought in their wildest, craziest ideas that this would evolve into such a huge case. The frightening thing is that if they had never been caught, would this have gone on? We'll never really know how many people these two men killed. Leonard Lake and Charles Ng, the copycat killers. Here's another plot twist for you. In 1982, Leonard asked his brother Donald to go on a road trip with him, and he did. Leonard came home without his brother. It's alleged that Leonard murdered his brother Donald and stole his identity. 4 months later, Leonard invited his friend Chris Gunner on a road trip to Las Vegas. We know where this is going. After 1983, Gunner was never seen again. Leonard was, though. He was actually driving Chris Gunner's van around, and people saw him. Excuse me? Questions. We have questions. Leonard told Chris's family that he had run away with some women on a trip. My point is, Leonard wasn't just about Operation Miranda. He was already a serial killer before he hooked up with Charles. Twisted as this is not the only instance where there has been a serial killer or a killing inspired by this book, The Collector. Christopher Wilder, also known as the Beauty Queen Killer, murdered little girls. In 1984, when he was shot by state troopers, on his person he had a copy of the book, The Collector. Bob Baradella, also known as the Kansas City Butcher, said that the book The Collector may have inspired his crimes. He is one twisted, sick fuck. You need to Google that guy. Whole nother story. Have any of you read this book? What did you think of it? Do you think that it actually caused people to have this sex slave, this Miranda? Let me know your thoughts. Is this an actual thing? I haven't read the book yet. It's now on my to-read list. My morbid curiosity. Take care, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.